Good morning to all of you and welcome to SwaMann's seventh episode where we are going to talk about ego, very commonly used, very commonly experienced. So, is ego our friend or our foe? And how do we manage our ego? So, friends, this almost every one of us go through it, right? And everyone has certain concept about ego. Maybe it's very clear, maybe it's not very clear. हमें शायद पता है नहीं, हम काफी बार यूज करते रहते हैं. So let's understand in detail what exactly is ego. Is it the same as superiority complex, or is it follow myself, or whatever I say, whatever is comfortable, as someone has said, my way or highway? Is that ego, or is it something different? What is this actually? Because we use it very commonly. आए दिन हम बात करते रहते हैं. To divide it into three different categories. On what basis? Okay, it's not that ego has three different parts or something, but it is how it is conceptualized. What is it commonly known as? That's a social. How people think about it. Okay, what is people's idea about it, and how it is commonly used. No, it's synonymously used for the pride, or one who feels very proud is called ego, or maybe sometimes even for the self-esteem people use. One who has a high self-esteem is called as having very high ego. Right? So these are the common terminologies where it has been used. So that is why I have put it as a social concept. We'll look into it little in detail. Then there is a psychological understanding of the ego. What does it mean? In psychology, we understand ego as a personality. I sense, like, okay, I'm Jyoti when I say it, or I'm tall, or I'm a doctor. Okay, so whatever this I is there, that I sense about that personality is what is the ego psychologically. It's not only talking about your say physical attributes or your mental capacities or your intelligence. Like maybe I'm intelligent, I'm beautiful, or something like that. But it is also about the doing, executing action. Like I'm talking, I'm eating, so even that part, whatever we do, the action part of it. So it's the I sense of personality where the awareness about the self and the execution of the function. जो हम करते हैं काम उसका भी, या हमारे अपने आप के बारे में जब हम अपने आप को एड्रेस करते हैं एज अ आई या मैं खुद, दैट्स व्हाट इज आल्सो कॉल्ड इन साइकोलॉजी एज अ ईगो. Third aspect is the spiritual. In spiritual also you must have heard बहुत बार बात होती है ego and soul or spirit is talked about that. Okay? तो यहाँ पे it's more taken it as a अहंकार और अहम भावना. जो हमारा अहम है वो होता है ego, और जो हमारी आत्मा है उसे soul बोलते हैं. So that is what is the spiritual concept of it. So ये तीनों के हिसाब से हम थोड़ा जानने की कोशिश करेंगे so that हमारी अंडरस्टैंडिंग बढ़े and we know actually how to manage the ego. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult if our concepts are not right. Then what we are doing, we don't know whether we are going on the right path or not. So it becomes very confusing sometimes. So first of all, let's look at the social concept. जो commonly बात की जाती है ego के बारे में. So यहाँ पे कुछ points लिखे हैं. I think almost each and every one of us have experienced it sometime. Either we have said this or we have heard this. Someone saying that, you will have to listen to me because I say so. You need to follow my instructions. You have to do it. Why? Because I know it all. I'm the one who is a knowledgeable person. मुझे सब पता है. You have to listen to me. I mean, आपको मेरी सारी बात माननी चाहिए या फॉलो करना चाहिए. मैं जो भी कहूँ वो सुनना चाहिए. बहुत बार हम ये बातें सुनते हैं. और ये सब बात जब होती है, then we feel यहाँ पे एक बहुत बड़ा ईगो, इस इंसान का बहुत बड़ा ईगो है. Another thing is, don't tell me what to do. As I know much more better than you. मुझे तुमसे ज्यादा अच्छा पता है. I'll teach you a lesson. Must have seen कितनी बार होता है people talk like this. And then we say the people who use this kind of language, इस तरीके से जो behave करते हैं, हम बोलते हैं इनका तो ego बहुत बड़ा है. He's very egoistical person. He thinks too big of himself. उसका मतलब एक जो घमंड बोलते हैं, अभिमान बोलते हैं, गर्व बोलते हैं, हम उसको ईगो के सिनोनिमस में यूज करते हैं. वन मोर हियर, डू नॉट अंडर एस्टिमेट माई पावर. यू डोंट नो हाउ स्ट्रॉन्ग आई एम. मुझे पता है, मैं तुम्हें दिखा सकता हूँ. लेट मी शो यू माई ट्रू पावर. अभी यहाँ मैं बता दूंगा. एंड मेनी अ टाइम्स वी एक्सपीरियंस दिस, especially on the roads when there is a traffic jam or something and कुछ प्रॉब्लम आ जाती है, एक दूसरे के थोड़ा टकराव हो जाता है, कुछ होता है, तो suddenly it lands up into a very big issue because no one wants to retrieve that. किसी को पीछे नहीं हटना है, हर एक का ईगो बीच में आता है, जैसे हम बोलते हैं. तो ये बहुत सी बार हम देखते हैं कि जो आर्ग्यूमेंट्स होते हैं, फैमिली में है, पड़ोस में है, रिश्तेदारों में या ऑफिस में है, कलीग्स के साथ में है, बहुत सी बार जो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट होते रहते हैं, बहुत सारी आर्ग्यूमेंट्स होती रहती है आपस में. हम एक दूसरे से के ऊपर वी वांट टू हैव दैट वन अपमैनशिप, वी वांट टू प्रूव आवरसेल्फ राइट, एंड दैट्स व्हेन वी से ओ दैट्स द ईगो. Everyone's ego is coming in between. And many times we see because of this ego, we lose a lot of relationship because no one is ready to take a step back. So what are the strengths of ego? We have to understand. ये जो बात हम कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे, जो commonly it is accepted as ego as this synonymously. This is the concept socially accepted. ये एक जो घमंड या अभिमान जो है उसको हम ईगो बोलते हैं. और हमारी बात मनवानी है, हमारी जिद पे अड़के रहना है, हमें और किसी के बारे में सुनना नहीं है, किसी के बारे में सोचना नहीं है, दूसरों की फीलिंग्स क्या है या दूसरे का क्या ओपिनियन है, वी डोंट वांट टू गिव इनटू दैट. तो बहुत सी बार इसकी वजह से रिलेशनशिप में प्रॉब्लम्स आती है, रिलेशनशिप टूटते हैं. नाउअडेज वी सी सो मेनी ऑफ डिवोर्स केसेस और लॉट ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स बिटवीन पेरेंट्स एंड चिल्ड्रन व्हिच आर हैपनिंग, और इन योर वर्क प्लेस ऑल्सो. Many times there are a lot of conflicts, so that team spirit is not there. So why it happens? Let's understand what are these signs. If at all it's with us or if it is with the others also. What are the signs? Then we know how to correct it. इसका हम कैसे इलाज करें या कैसे हम इसे मैनेज करें. As this high ego or egoistical people, what they are called as, they stop listening to others. उनको किसी की कोई सुननी नहीं होती है, क्योंकि कोई जरूरत ही नहीं है. मुझे तो सब पता है. I don't want to listen to anything. I know everything. You don't talk to me. Okay? They also start judging other people. एक बार भी इंसिडेंस होता है तो उससे हम जज कर, ओ वो तो है ना, he is like that only, he is a liar only. एक बार कभी कुछ हो गया है. So we always try to look down upon others, or we try to label them, or we try to judge the people. And we also stop getting better at the skills, whatever it is skills. जैसे कहते हैं कि बंदा इंसान जो है पूरी जिंदगी भर हम एक स्टूडेंट बन के रहते हैं कि कुछ ना कुछ हम सीखते हैं. पूरा जिंदगी एक किस्म से हमारी एक स्कूल है. वी आर हियर थ्रू आउट द लाइफ. वी हैव टू लर्न द लेसन. एवरी एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ आवर्स इज टीचिंग अस समथिंग. बट व्हेन द ईगो इज देयर, देन वी स्टॉप लर्निंग. जैसे बच्चे से भी आज के जमाने में बहुत सी चीज सीख सकते हैं, बट अगर ईगो है तो ठीक व्हाट, मैं जैसे ये बच्चे की बात सुनूंगा, इसे क्या मालूम है, ये तो कल का बच्चा है, इसको क्या पता रहेगा, ये तो जन्मा भी नहीं था, उससे पहले मैंने कितना किया, इसकी उम्र कितने, तो मैंने इतने साल अपने काम में निकाल दिए. सो दैट काइंड ऑफ थॉट प्रोसेस है, उस किस्म की एक फीलिंग जो आती है, उसकी वजह से हम अपनी स्किल्स को बढ़ाते नहीं है, नई चीजें सीखते नहीं है, और उसी की वजह से हमारा बिहेवियर भी बहुत हार्श और रूड हो जाता है दूसरों के प्रति, क्योंकि हम उसको उन लोगों को बहुत नीचे देखने लगते हैं. कुछ करेक्शन भी करना है, किसी की मान लो कोई गलती भी हो गई है, देन ऑल्सो इट इज spoken very rudely about it. And because of all these, we lose lot of friends. As I said, कि relationship में problem आते हैं, तो family relationship भी टूटते हैं, friendships भी टूट जाती हैं. This kind of a personality, they remain alone in the life many a times and becoming proud. Ego is synonymously used for the proud people or the pride. इसके लिए यूज किया जाता है जो लोग अपने आप को बहुत ज्यादा प्राउड समझते हैं, बहुत अपने आप को सबसे ऊपर समझते हैं, कुछ ज्यादा ही अचीव कर लिया है लाइफ में, किया है या नहीं किया है जो भी है, बट दे हैव दैट काइंड ऑफ अ फीलिंग. अगर अचीव नहीं भी किया तो भी हरदम उनके दिमाग में रहता है टू अचीव. So they go into all unhealthy and unfriendly competition. By hook or crook, I have to be on the top. This is the kind of personality what people have. Now, if any of these things we have it, हमारे अपने अंदर है, so we need to correct it. Because as I always say, बहुत बार होता है कि कोई भी चीज हमको जब पता चलती है या नई चीज हम समझते हैं या सीखते हैं, तो सबसे पहले हम सोचते हैं हाँ 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 वो इंसान में ये प्रॉब्लम है, या मेरे बेटे में प्रॉब्लम है, मेरी वाइफ में या मेरे हस्बैंड में ये है, या मेरा फ्रेंड ऐसा है, एंड दे नीड टू करेक्ट इट. और जैसे वो इंफॉर्मेशन मिलती है, विद दैट ओवर एंथुजियाज्म वी ट्राई एंड टेल पीपल, एंड वी ट्राई टू करेक्ट अदर्स, एंड वी ट्राई टू explain them that what is right, what is wrong. The whole purpose is not to look at others. This whole exercise is for our own self. अगर हमें लगता है हमारा बिहेवियर कहीं इस लाइन पे है क्या हमारे अंदर इसमें से कोई भी चीज है क्या जो हमें करेक्ट करनी है. So we need to focus on ourselves and correct ourselves, because that is what is in our hand and that is what is required. You cannot change anyone, but you can definitely change yourself. अपने अंदर इम्प्रूवमेंट लाइए, अपने अंदर वो बदलाव लाइए. और कैसे वो बदलाव लाना है? Here are the few tips. First and foremost, anytime if there is a mistake, accept your mistake and say sorry, apologize. कोई सॉरी बोलने से छोटा नहीं हो जाता है, बट ये बहुत बार बहुत से रिलेशनशिप में ये बीच में आता है. मैं क्यों सॉरी बोलूं, मैं नहीं कर सकता, या मैं नहीं ऐसे कर सकती, मैं क्योंकि गलत नहीं हो सकती, मेरे से कभी गलती हो ही नहीं सकती. We are human beings, right? No one is perfect. So it's but obvious sometimes we do tend to make certain mistakes. And by mistakes only we learn. Every mistake is teaching us something. तो मिस्टेक करना कोई गलत नहीं है, बट मिस्टेक को रिपीट नहीं करना चाहिए. इसीलिए हमको सीख लेनी चाहिए. जो भी हमारी गलती हो गई है उससे हमें सीख लेनी चाहिए और आगे बढ़ना चाहिए लाइफ में. So if any time in whatever mistake happen, अगर बच्चे के साथ में भी होता है, एग्जाम्पल के तौर पे समझो कि अगर हमने देखा है कि बच्चा कंप्यूटर के सामने है या फोन लिया है, इमीडिएटली भी शाउट एट द टाइम, थिंकिंग कह रहे ये तो है ना हरदम टाइम पास करता है, गलती करता है. अब आपको पता चलता है कि नहीं बच्चा तो एक्चुअली कुछ काम कर रहा है, या यू कैन अपोलोजाइज, से ओके सॉरी, गलती हो गई, गलती से मैं चिल्ला दी. या ऑफिस में भी, इवन इफ यू आर अ बॉस, कहीं तो आपने कोई इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं दी है, बिकॉज ऑफ दैट योर subordinate or your employee has not been able to do whatever work was asked by him or her, and you shout at the person कि क्यों नहीं किया, तुमको ये बताया था टाइम से, you should have done it, you haven't delivered it on time. Then you realize you only haven't passed on that information in right time. Accept your mistake, apologize. So that increases respect, for you in other side. They understand it. So just by being egoistical is not going to be helpful, but rather than apologizing is going to be helpful to you. Okay? Don't take it personally. Don't judge others. बहुत बार ऐसे हो जाता है कि कुछ भी गुस्सा होता है या कोई आर्ग्यूमेंट होती है, झगड़ा होता है. In that bout of anger, people say certain things and they use certain words which they themselves feel bad about it otherwise. So we have seen this concept while we had done the anger management. कि हमें अपने आप पे कैसा काबू रखना चाहिए, how we need to control our anger and how we should not utter something which we are going to regret. But here it is how to handle other person's anger. Someone may be angry or saying something in that bout of anger. Don't take those words literally. उसको meaning दे के मत पकड़ के रखो. How dare someone talks to me like this? So don't take any words literally or personally. Sometimes people tend to say certain things which they actually don't mean it. But in the bout of anger, they just blurt it out. Don't brag. बहुत से लोग होते हैं, आपने भी कभी एक्सपीरियंस किया होगा. When we meet, before even we say hi, hello to anyone, what they start with is talking about their achievement or their possessions or something. अरे हम तो यहाँ गए थे पिकनिक के लिए, यहाँ हम हॉलीडेज के लिए जाके आए हैं, या मेरे पास तो ये नई कार है, ये नया फोन है. Sometimes those are real achievements. Sometimes even if they don't have it, they try to put it in a bigger picture. चीज होता है उसको बहुत देर में बड़ा चढ़ा के बताना. So that is what is again a sign of having a big ego, or rather the pride. कि अपने आप को ही बहुत बड़ा समझना, अपने क्या बोलते मुंह मियां मिट्ठू, खुद के ही बारे में बड़ी बड़ी बात है. अगर आपने सच में कुछ अचीव किया है, if you are such a big person, let people talk about it. They need to talk about it. You don't have to just go on harping about your own things. So be careful about it. Like if it is happening sometime, we have to be observant about our own behavior and about our own speech, what we are saying, when we are saying it, and try and control it. Thing means we need to know when to stop. We need to know our limitations. बहुत बार ऐसे होता है कि एक वो enthusiasm में या in the flow of moment you may promise certain things which may not be possible, or we just say कि, okay, this I can do it, or I will do it, I'll show it, I can do it. बड़ी बड़ी बातें हम कर देते हैं. So we have to know the limitations of ourselves. क्योंकि कोई भी 100% परफेक्ट नहीं होता और कोई भी हर एक चीज नहीं जान सकता है. Someone may be good into something. Like, okay, being a doctor, I may be really good in my profession. As a psychiatrist, I'm really good. But if it comes to accounting, I may not be knowing it. So I cannot say that. No, no, I can do it. Right? Or even for that matter, even if it's a medical profession, I can talk about my field, psychiatry. But I can't just keep saying that everything for each and every other specialty also, I know everything. Maybe the basic instructions I can give, basic things I can talk about. So we need to know the limitations. कि कहाँ हमारे लिमिट है, क्या हम कर सकते हैं, क्या हम नहीं कर सकते. So there are some people, जिनको बहुत लगा रहता है कि there is nothing impossible. If you just think you can achieve everything. और उसकी वजह से लोग लग जाते हैं कि या मैं कर सकता हूँ और मैं करके दिखा दूंगा. मुझे सब कुछ आता है. So just be aware of it. Know your limitation, what you can do, what you cannot do. It. This is being more of a self-awareness, what you need to have. But don't think you are the best in your own field also. So someone is going to be better than you. Or you may achieve something like, okay, today you may buy some car or some gadget or maybe some phone, and you think, oh, I have the latest model. But there's going to be another latest model and which someone else may purchase it or may purchase it. Okay, you are not the one who is the best, or you are not the one who have everything. Having that humility is very important here. And understanding it's not only you. The other people can also be better than you. They may be really good. So learn to appreciate others' qualities as well. Don't be self-engrossed, self-centered. Sirf apne bare mein. I, me, myself. That's what is the common concept of it, which we normally say, and that is where this ego thing has been used. The people who are very much centered in their own self. They don't see beyond I, me, myself. You need to see that there are people, someone in say hierarchy of the office, someone is lower in the position than you, or in the family, if there are your children. Just because they are younger to you or they are junior to you does not mean they cannot have the good quality or they cannot excel into something. So appreciate them, compliment them. That also teaches you to be on the ground. You are not flying in the sky. मतलब दिमाग में हवा नहीं जाती है. जमीन से जुड़े रहना जरूरी है. And for that, being thankful for small things. Gratitude always helps you to be humble. You're not just thinking, it's me who is doing everything. I'm the one who is controlling everything. मैं सब कुछ control कर सकता हूँ. And that's the reason why I expect others also to follow us or to listen to us or to do what we feel is right. That's kind of having that control. If any achievement is there, anything we do, we feel, yeah, it's just because of me, because I have put in hard work or because I have put in effort. We forget that there are other people also who have contributed. Like example generally is given कि हम एक सुबह उठ के अगर चाय या कॉफी पीते हैं तो उसमें भी कितने लोगों का कंट्रीब्यूशन हुआ. वो चाय के जो बागान में काम करने वाले लोग हैं वहां से तो ट्रांसपोर्ट से जो आने वाले हैं तो शॉप, the people who purchase it for us, and obviously people who is preparing for you in your family. So even for that small cup of tea and coffee, the contribution of so many people has been gone into it. So learn to appreciate, learn to be thankful for that. That makes you humble. So friends, if you have seen all these examples, basically majority of the people use this ego term as synonymous to pride, to a person who is very proud. जो बोलते हैं घमंडिया, अभिमान है, जिसको गर्व है. So it's the opposite, which is the humility which we have to achieve in life. Humility means you have to be equal to others. You are not superior or inferior to them. That is what one has to understand and work towards that, achieve that. That is what is the concept of ego as it's commonly understood. But is it exactly the same? Is that the concept of ego actually? Does the ego mean that? So what is the actual concept about the psychologically when we have to understand it? He is Sigmund Freud. He is an Austrian neurologist and he is also known as the founder of psychoanalysis. Psychoanalysis किस्म की treatment है, treatment part modality है, which is used in many different kinds of mental illness. This was the first line of treatment which was proposed by this Sigmund Freud, where he has used hypnosis as a medium to understand the people's mind, people's personality, what is going on in their mind, in their brain. And he has given this concept of id, ego, and superego. And they are actually the component of personality. इट इज नॉट स्ट्रक्चरल कंपोनेंट. ओके, ये ऐसे नहीं है कि ब्रेन में कहीं एक पार्ट को ईद बोलते हैं या किसी को ईगो बोलते हैं. ये मोर ऑफ अ फंक्शनल पार्ट है. ये माइंड का ही फंक्शन है. कब ये ईद होता है, कब ये ईगो होता है, कब ये सुपर ईगो होता है, वो हम समझने की कोशिश करें. So it is basically works on the instincts, basic instincts like the hunger, thirst, or any kind of a thing which is required, which gives us pleasure, or instant impulses or demands which are there. That is what is the function of it, which is commonly seen in the children, not the small children, newborn babies. Okay, they will cry when they are feeling hungry. That instinct is there of the hunger. So that is it. It's also called as a pleasure principle. Then second is ego, which is more reality based. This is only which keeps developing into the ego, but ego takes into consideration what is the current reality before going on to fulfill the demands of id. Which talks about the morality and ethical principles. So it is not only the what is the current situation reality, but is it morally or ethically right or not? That is what our mind works into, and that part is called as a superego. So let's take it with the example. So as I said, it is basically instinctive, it's very primitive, and it works unconsciously. It does not have any contact with reality. मतलब जो हमारी बाहर की दुनिया उससे कांटेक्ट नहीं होता है, वो हमारे अंदर ही होता है, माइंड के अंदर. To give an example, suppose a child is there and when he feels hungry or he sees some food outside, even if we go to some other people's house, we visit someone, small children, they'll just pick it up. And we say, oh, ऐसे नहीं करना चाहिए, अच्छा नहीं लगता है, don't do that. So this is that eat principle. The moment you think of something, you have to immediately satisfy. Immediate gratification is very important for the eat. And we are born with this ease. Okay, while ego, superego develops later on, but ease is there when the child is born. It also is spoken as a pleasure principle, because see, whatever we demand, जो हमारी इच्छा होती है, वो हम अगर fulfill हो जाती है, तो हमें बहुत अच्छा लगता है. We feel pleasant, or if it doesn't happen, then we feel unpleasant. So it basically works on the pleasure principle, while ego works on rationality. It ensures whatever it wants to satisfy those demands, but by keeping in touch with reality. Example is given when we go for some seminars, and it's lunch break which is there, and it is delayed by say half an hour, 1 hour. You're very hungry. You're standing in the queue now. You want to take your food. Immediate पहले क्या होता है कि just break the line, go grab something and eat. That's it. Demand. Then reality comes into the picture. You cannot do that. It is not going to look good that you go in between, you break the line. That's not going to be looking really good. So that's the real good. So somewhere it would feel good factor that I'm going to feel good. This is what I want to do it because I feel good. While ego is more of a appear good. You want to see in reality, in society, how your image is going to be perceived. So you want to have that good image. That's what is the appear good. So ego works more on that. So it has more of a rational and logical thinking which is going on. It also operates on all the three levels: subconscious, conscious, and pre-conscious level. All the conscious level it is there, and it is called as a reality principle. While superego is something which gives us sense of right and wrong. This comes more through our upbringing. कि जो हमको बचपन से सिखाया जाता है ये सही है, ये गलत है, आपको ये नहीं करना चाहिए. Something like, okay, when we go for the holidays and we stay in the restaurant, whatever toiletries which are given, provided there, those toiletries, whatever items which are there, if we use something, वो ठीक है. जो बचा हुआ होता है वो एकदम immediate desire होता है कि चलो ये ले लेते हैं. Then morality come into picture. Is it right to do that? It is not the right way of doing it. And if it's superego is at a higher level, then you won't do it. Or if it is at higher level, then you will take it. So whether ego gives in to the id or ego gives into the superego, Ego has this balancing. It keeps having a balance between id and superego. Whenever that balance is there, that means we are having a healthy ego. Now, सुपर ईगो there are two things. As I said, one is the right wrong principle जो होता है, जो हमको सिखाया जाता है मॉरली, टीचर्स हैं, हमारे पेरेंट्स हैं, सबसे हम सीखते हैं. दूसरा एक कंसेप्ट सुपर ईगो में होता है वो ये कि हम अपने आप से हमारी एक इमेज बनाते हैं. क्या आइडियल सेल्फ होना चाहिए. Whatever our experiences in life which are there, depending on that. So these are the two concepts. One is right, wrong, morality, which is upbringing which has come, and our ideal image which we have, if whether it's matching up to it or not. So these are the two concepts in superego in which ego tries to balance it. Now, when the balancing happens, then we have the healthy ego. And what is the function of ego? As I said, this is the I sense, whatever I am doing. So whatever I see from the world, the perception which is there, जो हम एक्सपीरियंस करते हैं वो भी और जो हम काम करते हैं वो सारा चीज ईगो का होता है. So it's being aware of your own self, any kind of planning, organizing, जो भी हम डिसीजन मेकिंग करते हैं, जो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट मैंने बोला ईद और सुपर ईगो का होता है, या जो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट दो लोगों का होता है, वो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट रिजोल्यूशन करना. तो ऑल दिस इंटेलेक्चुअल वर्क, थिंकिंग and imagining, deciding, everything is done by ego. It's not only thinking, it's also the execution. It has the control over all the motor functions. What we are doing, our behavior, that is controlled by ego. Memory also comes under the ego. Right? So all these are the functions of ego. So if we have the balance between id, ego and superego, then we have a good mental health. Then there are no illnesses, then there is no problem. See, that's why it's very important to work on our ego. What happens if it's not there, if there is no balance? That's what is called as disintegration of ego. Why I'm mentioning it point? क्योंकि जो concept normally बोला जाता है कि ego को तो you need to dump your ego or you need to get rid of your ego. Ego should not be there. It's not. Ego is very much required. It's called as executive agency of our personality to execute all functions. If it is not properly developed in our childhood time, then there can be a problem. What kind of problem? Person may have very impulsive or immediate behavior. These are seen generally into all kind of mental illnesses. Common being like schizophrenia or depression. People have inferiority or superiority complex. They don't have very good sense of identity. This is again seen very much in the adolescent people. बहुत बार होते हैं ना, बोलते कि बच्चे को कुछ पता नहीं, वो बहक गया है, लाइफ में क्या करना है पता ही नहीं है, एक कोई गोल ही नहीं दिखाई दे रहा है लाइफ में. तो ये सही तरीके से अगर वर्क नहीं हुआ है ईगो तो भी ये प्रॉब्लम आ सकती है. जब हम इमोशनल डिस्टर्बेंस भी एक्सपीरियंस करते हैं लाइफ में, वी आर वेरी अनस्टेबल इमोशनली, इट इज सजेस्टिव दैट ओके ईगो इज नॉट वर्किंग प्रॉपर्ली. सो यहाँ पे जैसे मैंने बोला शुरुआत से जो सोशल कंसेप्ट है वहां पे हमें खुद को काम करना है. Ego, it is not properly balancing. There is an imbalance between ego and superego, or the ego is not healthy. Then there are mental illnesses where professional help is required. And what we do, either it's a psychotherapy or it's a medicine. Either of two is done to control that. Okay. So having said that, we come to our last concept, spiritual concept of ego. What does it mean? As I said, commonly we have heard, हमने सुना है, soul and ego. Are they two different components जो हम अहम की बात करते हैं? Either it is also spoken it as lower self or higher self. कि दो अलग अलग चीज है ये या ये एक ही चीज है और इनका क्या रोल होता है from the spiritual perspective. So spiritually generally जो बात की जाती है, any human being is taken it as a 3 level. शारीरिक, मानसिक और आत्मिक जो लेवल है, बॉडी, माइंड एंड सोल. सो यहाँ पे जो माइंड है इसे अंतःकरण भी बोला जाता है. so, मन, बुद्धि, चित्त, अहंकार, ये 4 पार्ट बताए जाते हैं स्पिरिचुअलिटी में माइंड के. और यहाँ पे जो अहंकार है उसको ईगो बोला जाता है. सो हियर आल्सो द कंसेप्ट इज इट इज द एग्जीक्यूटिंग फैक्टर. इट इज इन टच विद द बॉडी एंड द सोल, दोनों चीज है और बीच में ईगो है. ego operates through the body and it is coming in touch with the external world reality. हम जो एक दूसरे से बात करते हैं या एक दूसरे से जो हमारा संबंध होता है या जो हम देखते हैं, सारी चीजें देखते हैं, सुनते हैं, तो उस तरीके से हमारा ईगो ऑपरेट करता है एक्सटर्नल वर्ल्ड में. Now, this spiritual thing has been accepted even scientifically. This Abraham Maslow, इन्होंने बात की है about this hierarchy. Some of you must have definitely heard about it. जो किसी ने नहीं सुना है तो मैं ये बता देती हूँ. इन्होंने जो बात की है, first initially I had spoken about only 5 level. Fulfillment जो करनी है, हमारी जो भी जरूरतें हैं उसके हिसाब से लेवल बढ़ती जाती है. तो पहला होता है फिजियोलॉजिकल नीड की, जो हमारा खाना पीना है, रोज की जरूरत है, सर्वाइवल होना चाहिए. फर्स्ट इज सर्वाइवल, देन कम्स द सिक्योरिटी एंड सेफ्टी. फिर उसके बाद में लव एंड बिलोंगिंग, और उसके बाद होता है कि हमारा सेल्फ एस्टीम, हम अपने आप को या सेल्फ वर्थ जो करते हैं. फिफ्थ स्टेज इज सेल्फ एक्चुअलाइजेशन. बट नाउ द मैस्लो हैज आल्सो टेकन इनटू द सिक्स्थ स्टेज वेयर ही टॉक्स अबाउट सेल्फ ट्रांसडेंस. तो यहाँ बात क्या हो रही है, जो हमारा ईगो है हमें इसको एक्सपांड करना है. जो शुरुआत होती है जनरली वो सिर्फ हमारे तक हम सीमित रखते हैं कि मैं खुद, मेरी इच्छा, मेरी जरूरतें, मैं जो चाहूँ वो होना चाहिए. जब हम धीरे धीरे उसको एक्सपांड करते हैं तो हम अपने आप से हमारा ध्यान हटा के वी थिंक अबाउट द फैमिली मेंबर्स, द क्लोज फैमिली मेंबर्स, वॉट एवर दे नीड अबाउट इट. फिर फैमिली से बाद में आता है कि वी ऑल्सो स्टार्ट लुकिंग अबाउट द फ्रेंड सर्कल या हमारा नेबरहुड या सोसाइटी जो है उसके बारे में. सोसाइटी से जब हमारा सर्कल बढ़ता है तो वी टॉक अबाउट द नेशन, और नेशन से बढ़ के है तो देन वी टॉक अबाउट द होल वर्ल्ड या विश्व की जो बात है, वसुधैव कुटुंबकम. तो ये स्पिरिचुअली बोलती आपको अपना ईगो धीरे धीरे एक्सपांड करना है, अपने आप से लेके इसको बढ़ाते जाना है और सारी यूनिवर्स को ही अपने में समाना है. दिस इज व्हाट इज द सेल्फ ट्रांसेंडेंस, व्हाट Maslow has also accepted and he speak about it. So what does it say? Transcendence मतलब क्या होता है? It's going beyond ego. ईगो के बियॉन्ड जो सोल की बात होती है, तो हमको ईगो से ईगो को धीरे धीरे एक्सपांड करना है. वी नीड टू रीच टू द हाईएस्ट एंड मोस्ट इंक्लूसिव होलिस्टिक लेवल ऑफ ह्यूमन कॉन्शियसनेस. जो मैंने यहाँ पे एक्सप्लेन पहले किया, विच स्टार्ट्स फ्रॉम वन सेल्फ टू सिग्निफिकेंट अदर, टू अदर ह्यूमन बीइंग इन जनरल, टू अदर स्पेसीज, बाकी के एनिमल किंगडम वगैरह है, नेचर है, और इनसे लेके सारा कॉस्मोस. तो हमारी अंडरस्टैंडिंग जब उस लेवल तक जाती है, मतलब वी आर स्लोली गोइंग बियॉन्ड ईगो एंड वी आर रीचिंग टू दैट आत्मज्ञान, दैट अनुभूति स्पिरिचुअल, कि जहाँ पे बहुत कामनेस होती है एंड देयर इज अ ब्लिस ऑल द टाइम. गोइंग बियॉन्ड ईगो इज व्हाट इज स्पोकन अबाउट इन स्पिरिचुअलिटी, राइट. तो ये सारी चीजें तो मान ली है, तो बस इसके बाद में हमें ये कि व्हाट इज इट देन, द क्वेश्चन वेयर वी बिगन. जो हमारा ईगो है, क्या वो हमारा फ्रेंड है या क्या वो हमारा दुश्मन है? ईगो इज अ फ्रेंड और फो, व्हाट डज इट मीन? सो ईगो, इज इट मोर controlled by our body, by our senses, or is it controlled and directed by our inner guidance? Who is controlling it? जो ईगो का तो सिर्फ काम करने वाला बात है, राइट? इट्स अ एग्जीक्यूशन, वेदर इट्स अ मेंटल और फिजिकल. So is it controlled by our external senses? Are we just going for the pleasure principle? Satisfaction चाहिए, immediate gratification, कि हर बार मुझे ये लगा सही है तो मुझे बस ये करना है, ये चीज हम कर रहे हैं, तो डेफिनेटली हमारा ईगो एक्सटर्नली फोकस्ड है. और जहां एक्सटर्नली फोकस्ड है तो ऑब्वियसली वहां पे बहुत सारे डिस्टर्बेंस आते हैं, बिकॉज एक्सटर्नली देयर आर वी आर गेटिंग इन्वॉल्व विद अदर पीपल, और जो बाकी की भी चीजें हैं दुनिया में, द होल रियलिटी कीप ऑन चेंजिंग. इट्स नॉट कांस्टेंट, राइट? दिन है, दिन के बाद रात है, या इवन द सीजन वाइज, विंटर है, समर है, एवरीथिंग कीप्स चेंजिंग. So it's not stable. So ego keeps experiencing those disturbances. वो stable नहीं होता when it is externally focused, and obviously it's not satisfied. It's not at the peace. But if the same ego is inwardly turned, we are focused on our inner guidance, which is stable, which is constantly there, and it's blissful. It is guiding us all the time on the right path. कि क्या सही है, what is going to give meaning to our life, what is purpose of our life. It's not just pleasure, but it is more of a purpose. That is what we have to decide about it. So if our ego is focusing only on pleasure principle, it's just looking at only our own needs and our own demands, more than needs, it's our own wants and demands, then it's our enemy, because we are not going to experience that satisfaction and peace. But if our ego is focused inwardly, it's taking guidance from our inner self, can call it soul, atma, whatever, or your intuition, right? Then we are going to have that satisfaction. We are going to find that purpose in life, and which will give us peace of life. It's going to be a lot of stability. So, depending whether we are focused on the pleasure principle, whether we are focused on our purpose, whether we are outwardly जो बोलते हैं बहिर्मुखी है या हम अंतर्मुखी हैं, depending on that, ego either becomes our worst enemy or then it is the best friend of ours. It's in our hand to make it our best friend and have that peaceful and emotionally stable life.